Hello everyone. It is Jackie with Pocket of Preschool. I'm so excited you're here with me tonight. Tonight's Facebook Live is all about a spring theme. So hopefully with us doing a spring theme Facebook Live, hopefully spring will get here and all this snow will go away. So what we do, just like we do every week, what I'm going to do is walk around the room and share with you guys a whole bunch of spring-themed goodness, like math and literacy and dramatic play and science and fine motor. So that way you can just plop these into your lesson plans and you will be good to go. What I want you to do is pop in the comments. Have you done your spring theme? Are you going to wait until May until it actually feels like spring? Or are you not doing spring and do you do like weekly themes like bug and plants and flowers and things like that? Just so we kind of know what everybody's up to. And it's always fun to know what everybody's doing in their classrooms. So I'm going to flip this camera around and we're going to get started. We're going to start with some math funness. So in the top of this post, you will find links to all my spring TPT products. And you'll also find a link to a blog post that has a freebie for you too. So there's tons and tons of math you can do for spring. One thing I love to do, so these bugs, they are worm counters and they are so fun. They come in different colors and they're different sizes, but they're really fun because you can use them to measure like how long something is, like that way, or you can sort by color, you can sort them by size. So these are really fun for like a flower theme, a spring theme, spring, camping, farm, flower, forest. So these are fun for a lot of different themes. But yeah, so I just love these. And they're hands-on, they're fun. You can tell mine are dirty. I actually can't get these clean. I've washed and washed them. They're fun to put in the sensory table with dirt and look at this little face. Like how stinking cute is he? So yeah, so these are really fun. You can do like all kinds of things with them. Another thing I love to do is go to the dollar store and buy fake flowers, and then all I do is you can tell I cut them off with wire cutters, and you can use them for different themes. So over here I have them and we're sorting them. So I have some large ones, and then I have medium, and then I have some that are small. And then you can also have your kiddos sort them by color. So they can sort by color, and this way they're sorting real objects. And I also have these mats in my Spring Centers TPT pack. And then it also comes with flower cards too. So that way they can either use the cards or they can do this, or you can have them do both pieces. And there are ideas on the ring of different ways to sort them. So they can sort them by color. Maybe they have a way they want to sort them, maybe by like kind or number of petals, by size, or by number of leaves. So try and think of some ways that are just different than just color, shape, and size when you guys are sorting different things, just so they can kind of think of different ways that things are the same and things are different and things are alike. It's just it's really good for their brain. All right, so another fun thing that my kiddos are loving right now are color by numbers. So I have 2 levels. We actually did this on Monday. And one friend left his in his cubby. So I had my little friend, we did the rainbows because we talked about how crazy weather is in the spring, which kind of fits right now. So we did the rainbow and the lightning bolt. And one table I had my 3-year-olds, and they were doing the by numbers. So they just had a 6 dice, and I actually had to give some of my younger 3s a numeral dice, so they were literally just matching the numbers, and because some of them don't know other numbers yet till 6, and that's okay. So some of them were doing just 1 to 6, and then I had my pre-K kiddos, because I have a multi-age classroom with 3, 4, and 5-year-olds. They were rolling 2 dice, and then they were coloring the total. So that way everybody's learning at their own level, nobody is bored, and nobody's stressed because something's too hard. So these are also in my Spring Math and Literacy Centers pack. Another fun game to do is just to have them roll the dice and then put seeds in the dirt. And you can just use you can use these mats that come in my TPT centers, or You can just use a brown piece of paper, or you can literally put some brown Play-Doh and they can roll the dice. 1, 2, and they can put the seeds, which these are just black beans in the dirt. And when they're picking up these seeds, they're using those fine motor muscles. So look at all that great fine motor they're doing, and they're doing math. And if you have higher level kiddos, just give them 2 dice and they can add. And then you can also, there also comes with a pot counting mat, so they can roll the dice and they can put that many in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's my 5. Or you can have them use real little pots and they can put them in that way. So those are just some fun counting games. And then I have, you guys know I love marshmallows. I haven't seen these yet, but usually they come out during the springtime. This is from a project we did last year. I just have it in my pack. They usually have flour marshmallows. Oh, the trays. So these trays are from Discount School Supply. They're colorations. They're on Amazon, but they usually have flour marshmallows. So just put them out the night before and they can make flour marshmallow patterns. And then I'm coming up on parent-teacher conferences, so I'm trying to get some assessments done. So on Friday, when we do circle, I'm going to read this Counting in the Garden book, and I love this book. The illustrations are so pretty. So it says like 4 bunnies finding love in the shade, and then you have to find them. So it's really great for their visual perception skills. 7 birds, 5 dragonflies, and I'm just going to give my kiddos each one of these number cards or number papers, and they're going to write the numbers with us as we read the book, and it's a great way to get them engaged during circle, and it's a great way to assess their writing and fine motor skills. My kiddos love having clipboards during circle, so that's a fun way to assess and get them involved at circle at the same time. So let's go on over to art. So on Monday, we did these cloud weather paintings. So you can kind of do spraying a couple different ways. There's all the weather, all the crazy snow weather that we've been having, or you can do kind of plants and flowers, or you can do kind of bugs, or springtime animals. So Monday we talked about how crazy the weather is, and I made puffy paint for the clouds, and we read Little Cloud by Eric Carle, and all I did was I mixed some shaving cream and some glue, and then all they would have to do is scoop it out, and they painted it on, and then they used paint sticks, which are these guys, which I love these things, but because the paint sticks dry in like a minute, and they're great. But yeah, they just drew different types of weather. And then here's some of the other ones my friends did. So some of them were, I guess, hoping that it was going to be sunny. This guy has rain. This little guy has a nice, beautiful sunny day, which has not happened for us for a while. And then we have some more rainbows. You can tell those are my 3-year-olds. So yeah, so everybody kind of did it at their own level. I know some people say they can't use shaving cream. I always forget about that. So I know some of my teacher friends that can't use shaving cream and they know how to make puffy paint. Can you put that in the comments for them, how to make puffy paint? There's a way, and I just can't remember. I can't remember for the life of me how to make it without shaving cream, but there is a way. And if not, I'll look it up and I'll put it in the comments after our live is over. And with spring and all the bug Eric Carle books and all the little cloud you can also do Eric Carle art. So it takes a couple days, but have them just color or paint paper the first day, and they can scratch with forks or things to kind of make his designs. And then the next day when it's dry, they can put the paper out and they can cut and make the different pictures with them. And then I took out some of the scraps and I had a kiddo make that, and that was our bulletin board sign one year. And I actually a pre-K kiddo made this for me a couple years ago, and I kept it in my spring binder. That way I remember what projects to do. So Eric Carl is always fun. Eric Carl art's always fun to do. And then you can always do still life painting or drawing. So I had a couple friends draw or paint flowers at the easel. And then these friends, they drew this vase at the table. So they just sat and they drew the vase and they noticed the colors. You can tell this friend did the colors almost exactly, and this friend used her imagination and kind of made up her own and used different colors, and that's okay too. And I love how this friend has the roots above the plant. It's so cute. So yeah, so that's some fun art stuff. And so for my art projects, I know everybody always asks, like, how do I have this, like, during the school day? So, like, I would have this, would be out here on the tray, and I wouldn't have this out. I would have it already made, just in the cup, and that would be a choice. And then I also have a Play-Doh tray out as a choice, and then, like, next week this would disappear, and then maybe the Eric Carl art would go out. And I actually had that vase just kind of sitting on the table this week. For the still life art. And for a Play-Doh tray, I had one friend, she took these beautiful cookie cutters and she actually put them inside of each other and then like made a stack of like different layers. It was really pretty. And then used the buttons, and then I just have some green pipe cleaners for stems, and then these are actually fishing worms with no hooks, of course. But they're nice and wiggly. They're just like in the fishing section at Walmart. Those are really fun to use with like brown Play-Doh. Cause I like for our state, I don't think we can use real worms because of licensing, and just it's kind of, at least for me, I just kind of think it's kind of mean to watch a poor little worm go in some paint and go across the paper. Probably not really comfortable for the worm. So if you want to do stuff with worms, try using these rubber worms because they're very lifelike. And then these are just Play-Doh cards, and you can either have them use seeds to make the Play-Doh, the letters, or you can just put them out with Play-Doh. And these are in my spring centers pack as well. So to keep going with literacy, let's go over to this little table here. So another fun game you can do, this is in my Math and Literacy Centers pack. It's just a beginning sounds map. And if your kids are kind of, if that's too easy for them, put out some beginning sound foam magnets and have them match the sound with the sound. Obviously that picture match, but like ball and bee. Or you can put out the magnet letters and they can do it that way. So just kind of change it up a little bit. When the art trays are out, sometimes I have a sample, but most of the time I don't. Or I might show them a sample during when I'm introducing centers, and then I'll put it away just so they don't copy mine and I don't kind of stifle their creativity. My 3-year-olds are really working hard on names right now, so this is gonna be our table time activity on Friday morning. I'm gonna have my pre-K table, because I have 2 tables, 1, 2. So I'll have one table with then the sight words out, and they're gonna make their sight word and then write it with this on this dry erase pocket. And then I'll have my 3-year-old make names or their friends' names, and they can write them. So just another way to kind of differentiate for all your different learners. And just to making names and writing fun, just so it's not worksheets. I have worksheets in my pack just because I know some of you guys love them, but I don't actually use hardly any of them. And then here is a fun syllables game, so it's kind of like our Easter one we showed you, and I like having them put their syllable cards in things, so like picnic, and then they can put it in the pot. Just something fun, so it's just a little bit more hands-on of a game. And then let's walk over to here's my library table. And I showed you guys these last week. These are in the Pocket of Preschool group files, and they're free. They're a freebie for group members, and it's free to come and join us over on Facebook. And the link is in the top of this post. And basically, I just put out some spring mini erasers. I think these are from last year, but I know some of these you can find at like the party store right now. But they just make the letters with the mini erasers, and when they're doing that, it's all kinds of great fine motor, because they're pinching. You can also put out dry erase markers with them. And then they can talk about the sounds and talk about the letters, but a nice, fun, hands-on way to make and create letters. And then I just have a rhyming game in the pocket chart this week. And then I have my spring writing center. And we are still obsessed in my classroom with smelly markers. So I haven't had to really change it up very much lately because they're obsessed with smelly markers. Like, I have kids every day in the writing table, or in the writing table with the smelly markers, like writing and drawing and just loving life. So, works for me. So, our spring bookshelf. So, I always try and find you guys 1 or 2 fun books that I love. If you're kind of talking about spring, and you're doing lots with spring animals, A Nest is Noisy is a beautiful book. The illustrations are just gorgeous. And it talks about how a nest is noisy. And it talks about, I actually just got it from Amazon. I love this author. She also has like A Butterfly is Quiet, A Seed is Sleepy, which I'll show you in just a minute. But it just talks about all the different nests there are. Like, there's a squirrel nest and a lizard nest, and there's the honeybee. But it just talks about all the different kinds of nests. And there, some of the pages do have a lot of text. I just don't read all of them. I might read just the first or second sentence. So you'll have to preview this book for sure before you read it. But it's just fun to kind of talk about what animals live in a nest. And I didn't know if flamingos lived in a nest until I read this book the other day. So it's A Nest is Noisy by Dana Aston and Sylvia Long. I love that book. She's a really, really fun author. And then one of our carpet games this week. So this is like a center, and during centers, they can do this as a choice. So it's just a raindrop beginning sound letter match. And it's just nice to do them on a big old carpet so they can be comfy and spread out. I also just got these on Amazon. Oh, some of it fell over. My own kiddos came down here and made this for me so I could show you guys as I knock it all over. So, but the gears, I never knew, but there's different kinds of gears. I don't know if you guys knew this, but this is like super exciting for me. So there's flowers on them, and if you have the learning resources gears, it fits with my other set I have. So it's just got a flower on it, and there's little flowers, there's little bugs, and there's like a little bee. Super, super fun, and they can just pop it on, and they have to figure out how to kind of, like, it's great fine motor, obviously, if I can't pop it in. Well, I'm talking to you guys. And so it's just great fine motor. They have to figure out how to make the gears connect, so lots of problem solving and STEM. But they're really, really fun. There's actually a robot gears one too I saw that I didn't even know they had. So it's just a new fun game that I got this week for my kiddos. All right, in the sensory table we have, so y'all know, like, it's rubber mulch. Sorry, I'm talking like 3 sentences at once. So I'm allergic to everything outside, like spring. Just wait until spring. You guys will see, like, I can't breathe and I can't talk. Like, it's just a horrible time for me. So, I try and not have too much of the elements in my room. But I love using this rubber mulch because it doesn't make as big of a mess, and I know there's no fertilizer in it too. And these are those plastic flowers from the Target Dollar Spot a couple weeks ago. I think they've all been clearanced out, but you can always put fake flowers in from the Dollar Tree, and then just put in some shovels, and they can scoop and fill, and you can put in some seeds, and they can act out the life cycle of a plant, which would be really, really fun. Get some science going in the sensory table. And then, so this is my science center, and these are freebies. So if you, at the top of this post, go to the top of this post, and then click on the first link, and you will get the parts of the plant, anchor chart, and there's a couple other things in there too. Today we, it's freezing outside. It actually snowed for us the other day, like 2 days ago, or on Monday. I think Sunday, Monday. Anyways, so we're gonna grow some flowers in here. So they were actually clearancing them out at Lowe's because I guess they were worried it like hurt the flowers, but they look fine to me. But we took the flowers out, and I had an extra one, so I just have it out on the tray so they can touch and they can feel the roots, and they can touch and feel the leaves and the flowers. Just one warning though, if you do have plants in your classroom, make sure they are not poisonous. These are petunias, and they are not poisonous. So if you are worried and you can't find the list, just get petunias. Lisa, I got the rubber mulch at Home Depot, and I just got one bag, and it's fine. So they all wrote their name on their plant, or on a piece of tape, and then we took it out and we touched all the different parts and talked about them and used magnifying glasses and looked at them, and then they planted them. And then my plan is, so I only have a couple one kiddo wasn't here today, but and it's okay if you have like 18 of them. When I had a class of 18, I just had them going all the way across, so that's fine too if you have more. But what I want to do is I'm going to put a chart probably like right here, and every time they come, as like a part of their morning routine maybe, I'm going to have them measure their plant and then write it down so we can watch how it grows. So on my blog, you can like find out how to make these bean rulers, but they're so super easy. You just take like a piece of long tape. Here, I'll show you. You just take a piece of long tape and then line the beans up and then roll the tape kind of like over it. And then it's a great way to measure for little guys because they can count the actual objects rather than the like using a ruler. So it's a great way to use non-standard tools to measure. But yeah, and then we can count and compare and all that good stuff. And I love using clear cups too because, okay, so that one we watered them today, but you can see the roots. So that'll be fun to kind of see, watch the roots grow too. So you can see what's happening above the soil and what's happening below the soil, which is really fun. And then they drew their plant. So you can see you can tell like that's a 3-year-old, that's a 4-year-old, and here's a 5-year-old. So all my kiddos did it, and they all did it just at their own level, which is awesome. And during Circle, we talked about the different parts of a plant, and we labeled it together during Circle. And then next week, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the life cycle of a plant. So we'll talk about how it starts as a seed, and then it grows a sprout, and then it turns into a mature plant, and then after that, the flower comes. And then we're also going to talk about what plants need, how they need water and light and food from the soil. And these are actually, I'm going to add these to my anchor chart. And then those will just kind of go at the bottom. So I left some room. Okay, I can't pick them up because they're laminated, but I'll just kind of put these at the bottom of my anchor chart. So I left some kind of room down there for it. And then here's that other book I was talking about by Diane Aston. It's A Seed is Sleepy, and it talks about just how a seed is sleepy and what's on the inside and kind of how it grows. And again, the illustrations are beautiful. And this page is talking about how a seed is adventurous and how it's like blowing in the wind. So, and it just has all these big, beautiful up-close pictures of seeds. That's really fun. And then I'm gonna also put out a tray of seeds. And just be careful if you have a nut allergy in your classroom that you don't put any thing that they're allergic to out in your classroom. And this is, I think all 3 of these things are in the freebie. So make sure you go grab that. So I found these ice trays at Walmart, and they're like $1 a piece, and everybody's asking like, what can you do with them? So basically you just take tweezers and they can transfer, and you can pretend these are seeds. Or you can make you can pretend they're worms and put the little worms in with in the trays. So yeah, so it's great fine motor. And again, these are just gator tweezers. But yeah, they're just transferring the seeds over, which are just pom-poms. Or you can have worms. And you can add a dice and make it a dice game. But my kiddos love these trays. Especially my 3 and 4-year-olds. The pre-K kiddos are probably, it won't be as exciting for them. But definitely my 3 and 4-year-olds love these trays. And then they'll be going to be really fun to have them see that there's little wormies. And it'll be a really fun morning table activity too if you just put a tray out for everybody and then dump these out in the middle. And then they can just put all their little seeds and little wormies in their tray. And then I have my flour stew. So this is in my counting stew pack. So what the kiddos do is they count out 3 leaves, 1 stem, and then 4 flowers. And then they would mix it up and then put the items back and play again. So just a fun way to talk about the different parts of a flower. So we have the roots and the stem, and the leaves, and then the dirt, and then the seeds, which I just have black beans, and then the flowers, which are just the tops of fake flowers. The tweezers are gator tweezers, and you can find them on Amazon or at your teacher's store. But gator tweezers, I can put a link in here after I'm done for you too. In the block center this week, we have, I love spring because it's so fun. We have rocks from the dollar store because I'm allergic to real rocks. Well, all the things that are on real rocks. Fake leaves off all the flower heads I chop off from the dollar store. And then these are just these are buggies buggies and snakes, just creepy crawlies. These are actually from the dollar store right now. And then I have some tree rings. And these are actually from Constructive Playthings. And then I have some arches because one of the challenges is to build a playground. And they're like, we need a curved block. And I'm like, well, where can we find a curved block? And actually, these are my own kiddo's blocks he had upstairs in his room. And he went upstairs, because my preschool is in my house, he went upstairs and brought them down for us so that his friends can build playgrounds. So I just loved that he figured out what the challenge was to build a playground, which is right here. And he saw that he wanted a slide, and he figured out, oh, a slide that's curved, and these blocks are all straight. How can I make a curved slide? So he went and found a curved block. So it's lots and lots of thinking. And my little guy, he's only 4. So he'll be with me again. This is his 3-4 year of preschool, so he'll actually be back another year. So I was pretty excited that he had all that great thinking going on in his little brain. So lots of engineering right there. But all those spring cards you see, those are in my spring stem pack. So yeah, so there's lots of different things they can do. And it's kind of nice because they never ever come over to the block area and they're stumped. They just look up there and they get some inspiration. And they never have to build this stuff. They can always build a train or the skyscraper or whatever they want. But it's just some fun inspiration up there just to build something new and different every day. So that is my block center. And then I have all the other stuff that you always typically have on the other side. Oh, dramatic play. And so we did flower shop last week, the week before spring break, and I only had the flower shop side up. And this pack is in my TBT stack. So this week I added all of these things on this shelf. Yes, somebody asked if my kiddos come down here and play on days I don't have school, and yes, they do. Especially if I'm down here like prepping something or changing out pretend or something, they'll come down here and play. Especially my little guys love going to the block center and building. And then I also have my planting station, and I had kiddos today actually. You can see they have some pom-poms in here. They were pretending to plant. They were taking the pots and they were dumping them out, and then they were planting the seeds in there. and then they were putting the dirt in, and then they would pretend. It's hard to do one-handed. We'll just pretend I have dirt in here, a lot of it, and then they were planting it in there, and then they were pretending it was growing. So that was really, really fun. And it's a fun way for them to act out some science too in the Dramatic Play Center. They're not always just buying and checking out. Actually, I didn't have any customers today. Everybody was making bouquets, and they were actually calling kiddos from the other centers, taking orders, and they were delivering it to the other centers because the kids, nobody wanted to be a customer today, which is totally fine. I just love that they called the other kids, and then we're doing it that way, and they were growing things. So you don't always have to have customers, because maybe it's just the flower shop's just not open yet. Maybe there's nobody there, because that happens sometimes right at the store. There's just not all the people there yet. This tray they were having a ball with. They were putting all the different pom-poms, and they were just pretending. So these are our seeds, and they were taking these seeds and going over there and pretending to build different things, or plants, sorry, build. They were pretending to plant different things, and they're like, well, I want to build this yellow flower, and I want to build this purple flower, and so they're getting out the seeds based on what color they wanted to plant, which I thought was really, really fun. We are having a ton of fun this week, even though it snowed on Monday. We're having a ton of fun doing our spring theme. If you guys have any questions, pop them in the bottom of the comments. How long do the children get to spend at each station? So I will put in a link on how I do my center time, but basically my kiddos pick a center, and I'll walk over here and show you my clip chart, and they get to pick where they play, and they can play there for 5 minutes. They can play there for, I think our open center time's almost an hour. So they can play there for 5 minutes, they can play there for the whole hour, and they don't have to change. I never make anyone change, because if they're invested in their play and they're engaged and they're having fun, I want them to play for that hour and be focused on that that building or that dramatic play for an hour, because that's just higher level play, and that they're lengthening their attention span and all of that stuff. So I never make them change. If somebody doesn't get to play in that center, it's kind of a, well, we write their name down on a Post-it, and then they get to pick first the next time they come to school. But I will put a post in to link that to you, and I'll show you my center chart really quick. I walked over here. So here's my center chart. Oops, sorry. So I have 4 clips per center, and then so I have my art, my blocks, my library, discovery, and pretend. And I'll put a link in a little bit more on how I do it. And the clips are just basically, they just clip them on their shirt. So that way it kind of makes them sometimes pick a center they wouldn't normally pick, because maybe like they always go to blocks and blocks is full that day or something. So it's really, really fun, and it works for me. I know some classrooms, they let however many kiddos play in each center. It's just whatever works for your classroom. So you guys have a great night. I'll come back in. If you have questions, post them in the comments, and I will answer them. So you guys have a great night. Make sure you pop in the Facebook group and join our Facebook group so we can keep talking even when I'm not on Facebook Live. So you guys have a great night, and I will talk to you soon.